Turn off that starting soon sign. Let's just get started. All right. Well, welcome. For anybody who was there as part of, oh, you know what? Let me see. Who was there as part of the Pixelogic stream? You saw the pumpkin that I'd started carving. And it's been a fun little project so far. I've really enjoyed playing with this thing. Now I'm just going through and trying to refine a few shapes, and then we'll go ahead and get this guy committed. Like an insane asylum patient. Just kidding. Yeah, and then we'll get him rendered. So it should be pretty fun. I'm gonna go ahead and open the blinds real quick. Well, the curtain. If I open the blinds, it'll be a little bit too bright for me. But opening the curtain makes it so that you guys can actually see my face. How's everybody doing? I do see we have some friends. Few logged in on Twitch and a few logged in on Facebook. That's pretty nice. Or not on Facebook, on YouTube. Okay, let me see. So I'm trying to decide. Yeah, okay. Let's go to the mouth cut piece. I need to tweak this so that this has more of a defined shape there. Having that be defined in all sorts of ways helps it so that we can. Yeah, let's go ahead. See this a little bit here. Having these things defined in specific ways helps us to really show control and exercise actual judgment in design to see if something is really working or not. So it's helpful. This has been quite the roller coaster of a project so far. You know what? I need to go through and finish painting the gums and eyes piece here. So let's do that. So we're gonna say masking by cavity. It's not quite how I did it. How did I do it? Let's see. Okay, let's try doing it something like this. See if this gets me more what I'm hoping to get out of it. Looks like way too dark. So let's go ahead. Let's pick some of this. And we'll throw in some of the white in some of these other areas. I got to make sure that I get some of this kind of orangey brown into some of these flatter areas. Let's do it like this. Let's see smoothness. Is it working at all? Maybe what I'll do is I'll just kind of use the darker brown over here on the sides. I think it kind of helps to support the look a little bit anyway. Let's do that. So then mask by smoothness. Let's see what it is that we're getting masked here. Let's bring a little bit of this white kind of around these ridges. It might just be something that's going to have to be slightly off in how it's applied, because like getting it to be the exact same, I really have no idea what it is that I did that made it so that it was so unique. It's kind of bugging me. Okay. Let's do something like this. Pull that down, 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 do down, down. Okay, let's go back to that mouth cut piece. Move infinite depth. Something like that. I'm trying to decide if I like this gap right here like that. I think I want to kind of narrow it down a little bit. Something more like that maybe. Trying to come through. Hey, Brashan. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's been fun so far. I really enjoyed working on this one during the Pixelogic stream, and I was just like, you know what, I gotta finish it. I'm gonna jump on my own stream. And try to play with some variation in thicknesses and things like that over here. Now, it looks a little bit messy in some of these spots, but it's not really as messy as you might think it is. When you go through and you commit the boolean, it'll kind of clean it up some. So it's good. This spot, however, is very messy. You see like the shape that it's making right there. Okay, that's a little better. Something like that. Let's go ahead. I'm going to, it's Dynamesh, I'm sure. Let's put it down to like 512. 216. Looks like. Let's try 256 just to see what it's like. Not nearly enough. Oh, and this is the other thing I want to do. Let's say polygroups, auto groups, and then we'll say groups. 256 Dynamesh. Yeah. Yeah. That'll work. So what I want to do is I want to start kind of pulling in some grain in here, like make it feel like these teeth are made out of something instead of being just like normal teeth. Give them a little bit more character. So just kind of like pull some shape in there, shape in there. Give it like a little bit of like a hint at a chip or something like that, you know. You just kind of have fun with it, you know. It's just kind of pulling things together. So like, let's try move topological and just kind of pull that up. Make it like a real chip. Go ahead and give it like a little bit of an indentation here. Yeah. Kind of pull that up a little bit. So maybe take this one, kind of pull it down, maybe pull this one up, just kind of varying up the alignment a little bit so that it's a bit more interesting. So the school that my wife and I went to, BYU, they have these brownies that they they make, that they're pretty popular for, or famous for, or whatnot. At least on campus, they're famous for it. And it was they're these chocolate mint brownies, and they're really good. I mean, they're not the kind of thing that you could eat like every day and not get sick of them, but they're pretty stinking good. And yeah, they're pretty stinking good. And they just released like this recipe, the recipe for it online, which is kind of funny. Eyes and gums. Let's grab this. This needs to line up a little bit better. Pull some of these pieces around, just try to line it up a little bit better with the main surface. Don't want so much of a gap there that it feels like it couldn't have been carved. That, and I want to try to, I'm going to go through and 3D print it, so I want it to feel nice when it's 3D printed. Just make it like a little like desktop pumpkin. All right. Cool. Okay, so that's looking cool. I like that. Let's save it because I don't want to lose it. And in fact, I want to kind of fix the way that this is lining up with the eyeball a little bit. Let's go ahead and push that in. This needs to come out just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay. We're getting somewhere on this. All right. Oh, I messed up that little piece right there. Okay. Cool. So now you got this pumpkin. In fact, it'd be really funny. It would be really funny to go through and make this like a Halloween character. So like give him like a body, like a tuxedo body, like he's from the early 1800s, you know, late 1700s, colonial sort of get up for a young man or whatever. It'd just be funny. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Save it, just because I get nervous sometimes and wonder if I actually saved it or not. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's say, am I on right now? Let's just say clone. So for this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to say initialize QCube. QCube. Geometry, modify topology, delete hidden. And then I want to get rid of the intermediate loops. Well, maybe not all of them. Oh, not scale, insert. It's like, what is it doing? Okay, let's pull this up. Pull that forward. We'll turn on symmetry just so we can just, come on, there we go. Just so we can go ahead and tweak this as we wish. Right, let's leave these ones here. I'm going to go ahead. Let's add back a couple of edge loops so we can really tweak the shape. Okay, now I need to look up a pumpkin leaf because I know it's not simple like this, and I know it's kind of almost maple. Maple leaf in shape. And this one has leaves, but it's not really a... Let's just type in pumpkin leaves. Yeah, you see it's kind of like this rounded pumpkin, or rounded pumpkin, this rounded maple sort of shape. So yeah, it's got like 5 main sections there, it looks like, which is great. Okay, so what we want to do is I am going to take I'm going to say extrude edge. That's great. And then let's just kind of move this back so that it's not so protruded. And then let's pull this out. Okay, this will probably end up getting, let's probably like Dynamesh it or something, and then we'll sculpt on it. But for right now, what we can do is we can tweak and refine the shape. You know, we can make sure that the shape is doing what we want it to do, and it's important to kind of tweak the silhouette a little bit. Get the silhouette working the way you want it before you move into other things. Like for instance, right here, this is too big. This is too big. So we'll pull these back some. And then this will need to be a little bit bigger and more serious, but I think that's something that we might have to wait on to do until after we dynamesh it. So what we're going to do, let's hit Control D. Actually, let's try this instead. Let's say edge loop. Say group loops. Nope. Too much polish. Nah, it didn't work well for me. Let's try taking it down a little bit. Okay. So this piece might actually work better for a leaf for us than the other piece. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to kind of stretch this out. We're going to make this kind of a, let's go ahead, stitch to endpoint, sure. Kind of collapse that down some. Hey Niffer, how you doing? Long time no see. She just finished up the Pixelogic stream, and so now I'm just kind of going through and trying to finish up what I had started there. Yeah. Did I not get rid of, say delete hidden? I didn't. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to pull this out. We're going to say delete, single poly. Oh, say move. Where's move? Where's move? There it is. Okay. Okay, there we go. Now I can tweak that. Just finished a stream retoppling a character, huh? That's pretty cool. What kind of character was it? Was it for a client or was it like a personal project or? Okay, so there's kind of like the base for our leaf. Okay, I'm going to hit Control D, timer 2 on this. Nice. Yeah, getting good topology done for your portfolio is definitely a super, super good idea. Because everywhere you would work, everyone wants to know that you can handle good, clean topology. So this is not good, clean topology, but this is going to be dynameshed. It's really just kind of about me trying to go through and kind of control the shape before I dynamesh it, so that I can sculpt it a little bit better. It's really just all about the sculpt rather than about the topology on this particular project for me. Okay, this is coming along nicely. In fact, maybe I'll just leave it with the topology and just extrude it out and subdivide it for any kind of extra shape stuff that I need. This looks like this needs to kind of flow down and in. So I'm gonna, instead of having this go out in that sort of way, I'm just going to go ahead and say extrude. Nice. Okay. Okay, so this will be a little bit easier to manipulate so that I can get the shape in there. Because it looks like what happens at the end of the pumpkin leaves is that it kind of curls in. So what I probably actually want to do, let's go ahead, let's take one of these, let's say split point sweet, and then we'll say delete hidden, delete a poly, delete. Yeah, we'll say delete to that too. And then we'll say move. Move that, pull this around, we'll extrude this down and over, and connect it in. So yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things that you could do to make this a lot cleaner, but it's good enough for what I need. So I'm going to kind of try to pull this around, and I need to look at the proportions of these different leaves. So it looks like we have the main piece up here, which is larger, and then we have like, you know, kind of a middle size, and then this one's kind of middle size as well, but it's not not quite middle size in the same way, different shape. So I think I'm going to try to expand this out a little bit. Let's kind of pull this back. Let's get rid of, yeah, let's get rid of a couple of these edge loops. We don't need those. Okay, so we'll pull that together, pull that together. And then for this back piece, let's kind of try to pull that around. And then refine that shape. Okay. Okay. Turn off solo, please. Is that really the only thing that I have? Oh, it's because I haven't appended it into the thing yet. So let's go down here. Say append. Bring in that leaf. Select it. Turn off local symmetry because that'll totally mess it up. Just kind of bring it up. Okay. You know what? I don't want to take it out of symmetry yet. What I do want to do is let's figure out a good color for it. It's like if we look at regular pumpkin leaves, oh, did you send a link in? Twitch. I probably won't be able to get that. Jump over. Yeah, I mean, you might have to either send it again or send it in a whisper or something like that. Any links that I get on Twitch don't really come directly to me. But yeah, anyway, so we'll get like a nice lively green for this. Let's go ahead. Let's see. Color fill object. Maybe a little bit darker, a little bit bluer. I think that feels better. And one of the things that I like that I think we can do is I can just take, select lasso, we'll kind of just hide the border edges, Control A, bring it all back, and then what we could do is we can use something that's just slightly greener, slightly lighter, and we'll come through with the standard brush, and we'll just kind of lighten it up a little bit. So it'll get a little bit of kind of a gradient to it. Yeah, no, not even in the stream. So if you want to share a link, try sending it over to like the Whispers or something like that. I think that could work. Or you can send it to me on Instagram. That'll work. Okay, let me see. Extrude. In fact, before we extrude, let me go through. I'm going to add one more level of resolution. I'm going to come over, I'm going to say, let's say cage, which will take it back to the regular level. To the regular shape, This would just kind of help to refine and boost the shape and whatnot that we're working on. Okay, just kind of give this a little bit of life, a little bit of volume. I'm just going to kind of pull this shape out some. It might be losing some of its pumpkin leaf shape, but I mean, pumpkin leaves can be kind of varied in their shapes anyway, so I'm not too worried. Okay, I'm liking how it's looking. Quite a bit. Dude, it's looking pretty sweet. I'm liking that. It's got some good cloth and stuff going on with it. Looks like you're controlling it nicely. The shapes for the helmet and everything. It's looking pretty sweet. Good work, Niffer. It's fun. Yeah, let me see. So that's going well. My goodness. go through and just kind of pull out some of these sharper points just to help it feel a little bit more leaf-like. All right. And I think at that's what I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say delete lower. I'm going to say Z modeler. I'm going to say extrude all polygons. My goodness, he has got some lungs on him. And I'm going to extrude downward. What I want to do, I mean, obviously by extruding it downward, it's going to flip it inside out. Turn on solo. So you can see, like, there it is. It's showing it's inside out. So you can go ahead and flip it in two ways. You can flip faces. You can say island, just in case you're working with multiple pieces, but I'm not. So I'm going to go ahead. Oops. At this point. Oh, shoot. Just one little point right there. Getting some sort of weird overlap. Okay. Which means we might be having something with it here. Just going to kind of tweak it just to make sure. Okay. So what I want to do, I'm going to take this edge. I'm going to say slide edge loop complete. Just going to slide it down. I'm going to slide this one up. And then what I want to do is I want to add single edge loop in here so that if I wanted to, I could go ahead and say reconstruct subdivision, and that'll take me down one subdivision level. If I wanted to make it so that I could do another one beyond that, I could just come over here and I could say, I'm going to subdivide that too. Okay, so we're going to say all right, let's take this, say all, and then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll say inflate. Go down to deformation. Inflate by 1. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, polishing won't help, so that's good to know. Okay, so we'll do that. And so now, if we wanted to, we could come out to geometry and we could say reconstruct twice. And now we've got a low poly leaf that we can play with, which I will kind of even out these spans in here just a little bit. My goodness, what is happening downstairs? My son loves screaming. He loves yelling and shouting and growling and roaring and all these emotional loud noises. So I'm sure he's just playing. But good grief. I don't know where he gets all the energy to keep doing it, you know? Okay. Getting closer to finished. This is good. This is good. Okay, so this is the leaf. And so what I want to do, is I want to go talk to my son real quick because he needs to stop screaming. Someone's in big trouble. Yeah, not big trouble, but just good golly. Alright. Well, now that I've got this, I'm going to go ahead, place it. Something like that looks pretty good. In fact, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go Control-Shift-D, leave this as my leaf, leaf posed, and then I'll leave this as leaf symmetrical. Cool. Alright, that way I can have somewhere to go back to if I needed another one. I do want to modify that stem because I feel like I really like how the stem looks, but if I'm looking at it from the front or from the side, I feel like it's not quite giving me, and maybe it's just modifying kind of which side I look at it from. I don't know. I'll think about it. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and step up another couple of steps. And then with, I need, what do I need? Use freehand. I'll just kind of like pull this in. And you notice, like, I'm not going super slow with this and being, incredibly deliberate. And if it doesn't work the first time, I'm like going through and redoing it. I'm just kind of like doing it kind of in the general vicinity of what it is that I feel like I want. And really, I mean, that's it. I mean, it's enough. I think what I might do, because I think that the leaf technically has, like, these specific leaves. I mean, veining always kind of comes out from the central stems. So what I want to do is I want to kind of emphasize a central stem. All right, let's check our reference first, just to. Yeah, these ones look like they have the veins on the bottom. So instead of going through and doing all that work on the top, let's go ahead, let's solo this out. That's too strong. Let's bring this down to like 30 something or something like that. I'm going to turn on the lazy mouse, turn it up some, And let's check another thing. Let's see. Okay, so the veins do have like a lighter color. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to push like a little bit lighter of a color, maybe make it a little bit more yellow. Oh, and I got to turn on RGB. In fact, let's do it like this, because I don't want to switch the color. I want to just have the Z sub turn to Z add. can see kind of how that's affecting the other side. And then what I can do, let's see. Yeah, I like that better. Have it kind of taper off. Just kind of play with that thick to thin a little bit. And if the color's not quite right, that's okay. I mean, we can go through, we can just pull it out. And then we can kind of modify it a little bit in in post, so to speak. We can go through once we're done and kind of add like a little bit of like, I guess, average out the colors. Do something kind of like this. You see how it's affecting the top side, but it's having more of that effect that we're wanting it to have with the inversed creasing up here. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn, okay, we have our smooth brush, we're going to bring it down some. We're just going to kind of smooth out first for the volumes to kind of average out these points a little bit, kind of get rid of the jagged spaces and make it so it looks more like a leaf. Check the bottom. If we wanted to, we could turn off our color, and you can see like we're still seeing the veins, so the veins are still there, and that's good. Okay, now for 3D printing, this leaf is not going to work very well. I mean, I'm going to have to do a lot of manipulation to make it so that it works nicely, but I mean, for the digital stuff, this is going to work just fine. Okay. So now if I wanted to, and I don't think I will, maybe I will, I don't know, let's see. Let's come over here. I'm going to say polypaint, adjust colors, and what I want to do is I want to pick the main vein color. So I'm just going to click and drag off to there. And bring our tolerance down just a little bit. Okay. One thing I do want to do is I want to go to the blur. I'm just going to kind of blur it out just a little bit, just so it's not such a crisp line. Okay. And then from here, what I can do, I'm going to boost that, boost the saturation a little bit, maybe, I don't know. Play with that, Control H. If that's not quite working right, since this is still hidden, or since this is still masked, we can come over here, we can say, in fact, let's use the color from more of this side of stuff. And we'll kind of pull in some more of this green color instead. Okay, so you can see how that's starting to work, and it's starting to even out and unify the colors a little bit better. Okay, so yeah, that's fun. Yeah, it's funny when I went down to check on my son, help him kind of settle down. We had a little bit of a powwow on the stairs, my daughter, my son, and I, and he kind of came up to me. I mean, he hasn't screamed since, so, you know. I think that's one of the things that I have found to be most effective is that if I want to help my children do something, if I want them to do something that I ask them to do, it's best not to yell. It's best not to get angry. It's best to just kind of go and kind of play with them for a second while I tell them what it is that I want from them, you know? It's kind of an interesting world we live in, because I think most places, uh, movies, in society, I mean, we're kind of thanks, Kareem. Um, we're told, or we are influenced to believe that a heavy-handed man is the one that's going to, that's going to be that's the father. That's how a father needs to be, you know. And I definitely disagree. So let's do something like that. Okay, I'm going to grab the curve something brush, curve 2 brush, if I can find it. Maybe I'll just use curve simple. I mean, it's my own brush. It's nice. Let's grab this green color. Actually, maybe let's grab the vein color. Oh yeah, because of subdivision levels. Let's duplicate this. I'm gonna step up to the highest level. I'm gonna say delete higher. And then I'm just gonna drag it out. Let's say stroke. I want to make sure that the curve is okay. It's got lock start on already, which is great. Does it have snap on too? It does. I didn't want snap on. I just wanted the curve, the bend. Okay. Control-Shift-A, delete hidden. So now this will be our tendrily sort of subtool. Okay, so right here, what I want to have happen, I want to make sure that this goes into the leaf. I don't want it to be, I don't want it to look funny. So bring this over and around, bring this over. So now as we smooth it, it's going to look like it's, you know, nice. One of the other things I want to do, let's go ahead and select the color from the stem, and we'll just kind of have that the stem of the leaf turn to the brown as it gets closer. It could be fun, you know? Could be fun. Let's go over here to this. We'll say masking. Mask by smoothness. Maybe not. Mask by cavity. That's a little bit better. I'm just going to kind of add a little bit of color information here, and what that's going to do is it's just going to help the details pop a little bit. Let's kind of lower the intensity on that so that we're not being quite as heavy-handed with it. I mean, it's still going to be a little bit of like color popping right there, but okay, let's try this. And then grab some of this. bring up the color a little bit. And let's unify it a little bit by just kind of going over it. Let's try peaks and valleys. That's kind of nice. Maybe what I'll do is I'll desaturate and kind of pull over a little bit. Then we'll just kind of pull some of that, some of this lighter color into these high areas. See, that's looking cooler. I like that. I like that. I'll keep that. Sweet. Okay, so what I want to do, in addition to this leaf, let's kind of go back over to this leaf posed stem piece. What I want to do is I'm going to use probably my hair curls or the rope. Let's try the rope. I'm going to try the rope. I'm going to use for the curve functions, or the modifiers rather. Let's see, curve. I don't want snap on. I want the curve step. Let's bring this down to like 0.2. Okay, so as I draw this out, you see it's getting me this really tight curve. In fact, I might need it to be significantly bigger than that. Let's say 0.5. I think that'll work better. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to just kind of pull a curve out like that. Okay. And then what I want to do is I want to commit it. I'm not going to keep this whole piece. Essentially what I want to do is I want to take something like that, Control Shift S to be able to shrink it. Okay, and then let's grab this piece down here too. Control Shift A to be oh shoot, I didn't want to do that. But I do want to make sure that I can get this whole piece. So let's go Control Shift A, invert that. Control Shift S. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead, invert it. Geometry, delete hidden. Okay, so now this is what we have. I'm going to come down. I'm going to turn on double-sided. Although it's not showing me double-sided at all. Yeah, working with curves can sometimes be a little bit difficult, but you know, c'est la vie. I'm actually going to go ahead and get rid of these other loops here. So that's essentially just this little piece here this way. And I'm also going to go ahead and kind of clean up to make sure that it's less dense. I feel like one of the things that's kind of tricky about working with these sorts of pieces, especially for what I'm trying to do with it, is that it is, especially for the method that I'm using to be able to get this, it's just too dense, and so I have to go through and patiently work my way up. Oops, not 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Autosave. You see that was 1, so there's that. But I'll leave that central edge in there. I think that's helping me to kind of see it a little bit better. 1, 2, 1, 2. Getting close to the end here. Bear with me. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. So there is our little curly Q thing here. Okay, so what I want to do, first off, I need to make sure that it's the right color. So let's go ahead, color. Oh, I need to make sure it's also split out. So I don't want it to interfere with the other piece here. So we're going to say split hidden. And now we can say color fill object. Man, imagine ZBrush crafting. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so this right now is like way bigger than I need it to be. I just need it to be like this little spriggy thing. So I'm just going to kind of pull this off like this. And then what I want to do, let's get rid of that because I don't need it. I'm going to say extrude edge. I'm just going to pull out a long edge right there. Okay. And in fact, I want it to be half the width. Half the width that it is anyway. That makes it look like it'll match up better with the other stem anyway. So let's do this. Just gonna kind of put that in there. And then we're going to go ahead and say extrude all polygons. We'll just take it out until it feels square. So when we go ahead and do our little smooth preview, that's what that looks like. It almost looks more like a foam cord, but you know, we'll fix it. Let's say crease. Uncrease all just to make sure that we're not getting any kind of weird creasing in here. Oops, don't want to do that. And we'll just go ahead and we'll add in a few edge loops in here. And we'll just manually kind of manipulate this so that it feels more organic instead of feeling so extruded and so straight, you know? All right. Cool. Yeah, so that's looking great. That's exactly what I want. In fact, we might even want to take it. Well, first off, I guess we want to go ahead and say C standard. Okay. Let's go ahead and pull some of this brown color in there, just to make it so that it's unified. And we'll just duplicate it off, pull it over. Now with this one, we could probably go through and shorten it. Just so that it's something different and unique. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take, we're going to say, turn off solo mode. Let's say delete single poly. Then we'll say delete island. Something about right there, I think feels like it'll be pretty good. Then we'll say bridge. Oh, not that. No, I don't want that. Do nothing, please. Here, let's do this. We'll say bridge edges. Grab that, and now that's good. Okay. Now I've got a couple of good little spriggies on there. Oh, guys, this is so much fun. Okay. So the last thing that I am going to go through and do. Oh, I didn't expect to be on this long. At least I was able to get up and like shower between streams. It makes it a little nicer. Let me see. Oh, looks like somebody turned on reminders for the stream. Let's go ahead. Let's post a quick update onto Instagram just to be able to be like, you know, hey, we're doing something. Alright, get that down there. Got to change the color so that it stands out a little bit better. Done. Okay, and then I'll insert the link. Twitch.tv/SMAARTIST. Working on a character. What are you working on, Prashant? Is this another personal project, or is this something for a client? Did you get a client? Did you get something? Did you get a nice little client? Yeah, this has been kind of a funny project so far. I do though. I feel very invested now in the idea of giving him a body. Like this skinny little kind of Corey Loftus-esque sort of body. Nice. Yeah, yeah, post it on the Discord when you're done with it. I can't wait to see that. See, I'm gonna kind of try to vary up this shape a little bit more. It's a little bit too simple. So I'm just gonna kind of pull this in. And just tweaking it, just trying to make sure that it feels good. All right, that feels better. In fact, okay, one of the things I want to do is we will take these eyes just for the sake of making sure that I can modify things more easily. Give it a little bit more character by making his eyes look off to the side rather than having them look straight on, you know? There we go. I might call that one done. I do still want to kind of go through and make sure that the stem is actually visible, though. I don't know. Maybe I'll post it, do a turnaround, and see what people think about it. I don't know. Let's see. So yeah, that's how the pumpkin dumpkins. Yeah. Oh yeah, I think that might be it for today. Come on, eyes. There we go. Oh, pardon me. Let me see. I might turn on the surface noise again. Turn on that noise. Turn on that noise. Let's see how that looks. It's looking pretty good. I'm liking how it's looking. Let's come back over to the eyes. I'm not even gonna worry about keeping the eyes like perfectly round anymore. I think that I'm at a point where it's like I'm committed to certain shapes because of the emotional read. And so I think it's just time to kind of fit the eyeballs to that. Which is fine, because I think that works. I think that works nicely. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I need to make sure that we're getting this in a good position. We gotta go movie, timeline, show. I might want to lower it just a little bit. Okay. Let's check this, see kind of like what it is that we're getting out of it. That's pretty intense. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that extreme angle, it's like, wow. Yeah, I'd rather just kind of keep it more normal. Let's try the 35 millimeter. That's not bad. I don't know if it'll stay like all in frame when it's rotating, but yeah, let's play with this. Let's see, render BPR shadow. Let's take this up to, let's try 65 and 80. Take it down to 750. And then let's change our light direction so that it's not quite centered on there. Oh no. I'm gonna have to tweak this little bit right here. It's got like this little piece shining through, and I don't like that. Okay, I think I'm just. Oh, I don't want that. S. It's like, what am I trying to do? Trying to change the brush size. Okay. Okay, save. And I also need to save my view so that I can get back to it if I need it. Let's go movie, save timeline. Let's see. Pumpkin views. All right, let's do this. Okay. BPR this bad boy. Okay, it's looking pretty decent. One of the things I want to do, let's try. Well, I guess here's what we'll do. We'll save this. We will go, here, let's go over here to render pass. We'll say, save out. Save that out. Save out the depth. Save out the shadow. Save out the mask. Okay, so that way we at least have it. And we can go back to it if we want. Okay. The thing I want to try, let's try going into light. I think that leaving the distance is just fine. Let's try changing the intensity up to 1 and the ambient up to 5. Or up to 10. Let's try 10 just for the sake of seeing what it's like. Okay. It's definitely a little bit different of a look. Not super different, but not too not too bad. Let's take the distance. Just for the sake of playing with it. We're going to play with this distance, take it down to like a 50 or something like that. Because what that's going to do is it's going to help make it feel like the light is closer to his head and kind of like make that light shape a little bit tighter. And I kind of like that. I don't hate it. Let's do that. We'll save this out as like a BPR render 2, not W2. Okay, that way we have it. Okay. Okay, so now the other things that I want to do is I want to go ahead and take my light, take the ambient all the way down to 0, take the distance all the way back up to 1, take intensity up to 3. Whew. And then we're just going to bring it around to the back. For the color, I'm going to try doing something that's like a little bit different than what I usually do. I'm going to try like an actual colored light, see how that looks. Usually what I'll do is I'll keep it white, and then if I wanted to adjust the color of how it looks later, I'll do it in Photoshop. This is kind of cool. So yeah, we'll keep that. I'm going to call this Rim A. Say OK. And then we'll say, yeah, we need to get a Rim B as well. So let's do that. We're going to take our light, take it to the other side, and maybe make this one warmer. I'll have to play around with it in Photoshop and see what we can get. Ooh, that's got like a really dramatic red orange to it. That's crazy. Okay, Rim B. And then we're going to call that good. Let's go check it out inside of Photoshop and see what we can do with it. It's like a couple of things that I need to do is I know that I want to add kind of like the glow on the inside of the mouth. Ooh, and just for the sake of it, I need to turn on Ambient Occlusion. Let's run it again, and that will allow me to get the pumpkin. That will allow me to get the pumpkin. I keep starting my sentence and I never finish it. That's just kind of how it goes, I guess. BPR render shadow. There we go. Okay, so there's your shadow. All right, yeah. Mask. There's render, and there's the second render. So you can see the difference. There's rim A, rim B. So what we're going to do is we're going to change these to... I might leave it at screen. That's kind of nice. I don't want color dodge. I'll either have it as at screen or lighten. Lighten looks better. Let's do lighten. Okay. Although for rim B, I don't know. We might change that because it does have a lot more of a brightness and a presence. I don't know. We'll leave it at that for now. This looks better. So we'll leave the BPR render as is for this. One of the things I like to do is I like to duplicate that render, and then I'll take it and turn it to screen. And that what that does is it really just allows it to pop a little bit more. And you can see how we've got some of that here with this. So maybe what we'll do is maybe we'll try using screen on this layer instead, so that way it's not getting quite as competitive. Because the lighting is different. So maybe what we'll do is we'll keep this one. Now the mask is really important. Control Shift C. I'm going to select all these images. I'm going to put them into a folder. Make a layer mask. Hold Alt, Control Shift V. And then Alt click on that. And essentially what this did, it looks like it did nothing, right? But if you look carefully, Let's go ahead and let's do something like this. You can change the background now. You can do whatever you want in the background, and it's essentially cut your image out of the render. So it's super nice and it's super super useful. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I am going to take the depth. Okay, so you see, like, the depth is really kind of odd in that it looks weird and you can't really figure out what to do with it. So I'm going to hit Control I, and you can see from this that it's creating kind of a so essentially it's taking the closest pieces, which are black, and the farthest pieces are white. And I'm going to be able to use this. If I hit lighten, it's making it look like it's kind of lighting up on the inside. So what I'm going to do, and actually we might use like color dodge or something like that. I don't know. We'll have to see kind of what it is that we use. In fact, it might even be just a screen, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say colorize. I'm going to make sure this is a nice, warm light. Let's kind of darken it just a little bit. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to kind of put this in here. We'll probably duplicate it off and do a couple of different passes. Let's kind of put a layer on this. And then I'm just going to use like a black brush. I'm going to paint in the areas where I want to keep it. Let's take the hardness down pretty far. Turn that off. Okay. Okay, so now it's inverted. So now you can see, now we're getting that sort of look in there of like a glow. Okay, really super simple. But now what I want to do is I want to kind of add like almost like a little bit of a subsurface scattering sort of effect. So we're going to try to pull this forward a little bit. Might be too much. Okay, let's try taking this to like, we're gonna try a couple things. We're gonna try, oh, take it back up to color dodge, please. All right. So what we're gonna do is we are going to take this and we are going to change our hue saturation. It's just a little bit more red. Okay. And here's what I want to do. I want to take, so our ambient occlusion pass is done now. So let's go back to the render passes. We're going to say AO, grab that, bring it over into here. Okay, so that's our ambient occlusion. Okay, so this is going to be helpful to us. What I want to do is I want to take this image, Control A, Control Shift C, turn it off. I want to come down to here, make a new layer mask, Control Shift V. Okay, what I want to do is I want this to affect really like these super tight spaces in here, and we're going to erase away some little areas. But that's the idea. That's what we want to do. That's what we want to have this this pass for. Okay, so we're going to take this and we're going to use our black brush, just kind of pull some of that pass out of, like, you know, these outside areas. I'm going to try to add some more in some of these spots, just to kind of make the eyes pop a little bit. Maybe not. Just kind of amplify some of these areas, though, like just these spots where I know that I've got the light from the inside and whatnot. So let's kind of do that. Now these are supposed to be thinner areas too, so we're gonna kind of pull some of that back in. I think I just want this background to be maybe not black, but considerably darker. Kind of get rid of some of this down here. This will just kind of help to make the teeth feel a little bit more solid, like they have more of a place. And it still feels like it's glowing. It still feels nice. And if we wanted to, we could amplify that glow look a little bit by doing like a linear dodge layer. Come in here with like this golden color or something. We'll have to test it out and see. Yeah. Just kind of add some specifically over here to where this to where the source of the light is probably at. But yeah. And then we'll have a paint in layer. let's go through. Let's do that. We'll say glow, and then we'll have eye spec. In fact, that might even be all right without even having to turn on any kind of blend mode. Let's get a paint over layer. In fact, let's instead of doing this as eye spec, let's just call it paint over, because there are a couple little spots that need some attention, like this right here. So I'm just going to use sample all layers. That's great. There's this little spot down here. I have no idea where it came from, but they're just little artifacts. They're little rendering artifacts. So yeah, I can kind of fix like the teeth a little bit if I want to. And then there are these little artifacts over here. So I'm gonna I was like zebra shortcuts. Don't really work inside of Photoshop, but you can get kind of close to some of the tools that you're trying to use. Okay, so I think those are the ones that I noticed. I do kind of want to refine this spot right here a little bit, so we're just going to kind of... I'm using a soft brush to be able to kind of tweak that, but then I'll go back, and if I have to, like specifically for this backside, I'll go through and I will kind of refine it a little bit. Oh, you know what? Another way that I can go ahead and should be able to refine this fairly easily. I'm just going to take this main base layer here, That's interesting to see kind of how it looks if it's all just darker. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to go into filter. Let's go. Is it camera raw or lens correction? Let's go lens correction. Is this the right one? No, it's not the right one. Say cancel. Filter, camera raw. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and zoom in to like 200% just so we can see this area through here. We want to play with the noise reduction. So I'm going to kind of pull this over here. It looks like it doesn't really want to refine that out. So here's what we're going to have to do. Okay, so since this is something that may or may not actually that we want to apply to the whole area, I'm going to come over here and we're going to make sure that we're getting the noise reduced just as much as we want it. I think it was up in the 60s or something where we had it. Yeah, look at that, like even up 70, something like that. So let's do something like 75, say that. And then what we'll do, let's turn off render copy. And since render copy is what we were using to be able to get the lighting the way that we wanted it, we'll just go ahead and duplicate the one that we fix. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, so what we're gonna do, so you can see the difference of where it's going through, and it's kind of taking out the detail and things like that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take a layer mask, and the big areas where I know that I was seeing it. Yeah, let's actually invert it so that we can. I like right down through here, through this area and here. So I'm just going to kind of come in with my brush and just lightly paint that in. Maybe over here along the nose. Maybe right there. And see if there are any areas in here that we might tweak. Get the teeth, because this is one of the things that's going to help to make the character feel more refined and finished. It's totally cheating, but you know, doesn't really matter. This isn't for production, it's just for a personal image. It's just for a challenge on Instagram. Okay, so that's looking much nicer. Might go in here. Let's get noise reduction. Nope, I don't like that. I like the detail that the rough is kind of bringing in there. In there. Pull out some of that faceting. Pull out some of this faceting. Just kind of pull out some of this. So it's like I'm trying to be careful so that I don't eliminate all the detail that I want to keep. Okay. So now that we've done that, let's take this and we're just going to duplicate that again. And we're going to change it to screen. Oh, and then we got to eliminate the disable layer mask. Okay, this is really strong. I really kind of like how subtle it is down here. So what we might do, let's go ahead and turn off the paint over layer. Actually, let's not just turn off the paint over layer. Let's do this. Apply. Okay, so that way we have the paint over layer, but it's only affecting the eyes for right now. Okay, now the thing that we want to do, let's change the opacity down on rim B just a little bit. Or maybe what we could do is we could just take this and we could say, you know, use your levels. You're liking that, Mike? Just kind of pull it down a little bit into less, so it's less light. Let's desaturate it a little bit too. Something like that. I think that feels better. Okay. Let me see. I do want to take this and get rid of the lighting that's happening up here. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe partially. Yeah, I think that's kind of nice. Yeah, I like the glow in the mouth too. It's kind of fun. There's a lot going into it to kind of make that work, but you know, it's all part of the stream, so we're good. Let me see. And then, yeah. So we've got that going on. And then we've got this, which is, here, let's go ahead and delete the layer mask. I don't know that I want it to be so intense. So what I want to do, let's grab this, let's say Control J. I'm going to clear smart filters, delete layer mask, turn it to normal. Let's bring it up top so you can go Control A, Control Shift C. I want to apply this, Control Shift V, into the depth. You know what? I've got an idea. Something I want to try. I'm going to try taking this to multiply so that I can get depth and ambient occlusion at the same time. And I think that that'll help to kind of boost the effect. Just inside of ZBrush, yeah. So it's really simple. Really kind of a nice, simple setup. Control Shift V so we can get that in there. And then let's boost. Let's boost that a little bit. So this way it's helping to bring what's close to us a little bit closer. You know what? I'm going to try something different. Test one. Control D, Control J. I don't want the clear smart filters. Let's delete the layer mask. Change this to, yeah, let's change it to screen. Okay, so you can see the difference of what that's doing. What I want to do is kind of take it so that it's make it so that it's kind of affecting just the lighter areas. That's helping it to pop some more, so that's nice. But I don't want it to be like drowning out the fun details in the eyes and things like that. So let's do something like this. That's good. That's good, because I feel like that's helping it to pop some, and I think that that's exactly kind of what it needs. Let's rasterize this. One of the tricky things is that I had gone through and cleaned up the teeth, and since it's a screen layer, it's not going to necessarily care so much about the details. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of blur out the areas that I had gone through and cleaned up, and have it so that it's, yeah, essentially just the way that it is. The way that it is now. I can't wait to show my kids this. They'll think it's so much fun. All right. So now that I've got that done, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my paint over business again. Let's go ahead and kind of close all these smart filter layer bits, just so that we don't have to worry about seeing as much. Okay, let's go ahead and get my my healing brush. It's like, what is the name of this tool? I know this one. I know this one. Okay, get rid of that. Get rid of that. And then we'll just come in here and start to paint it out. Okay. That should be good. And one of the things I'm trying to decide on is whether or not to take, for instance, this color, and just give it like a little splash of that there, a little splash of that there, or something like that. I feel like that kind of helps to add a little bit more of an honesty, I guess, to it, to help it feel a little bit more like it's got like there's something influencing the color, there's something influencing the light, and so something like that could be nice. Yeah, I think we're good. So now I'm going to go ahead and save this. I'm not going to call it BPR render. I'm just going to call it Pumpkinhead 01. So yeah, that is the result for today's stream. That was fun. That's fun. Yeah, I think we're good. I think that eventually when I go through and create the final, I'm going to need to go through and like really detail this this pumpkin, because I feel like it would work a lot better if the pumpkin had more proper detailing, which is something that I could do a lot more easily once I go through and run the booleans. But yeah, I mean, for right now, that's just kind of where it's at. And then the other thing is that I would go through and kind of take these twirlies, these filigree, not filigree, these tendrils. And I would kind of vary it out a little bit so that there's maybe a little bit of so it's not all one consistent swoop, but so that it has a little bit more variation and fun to it. And I might be able to get that really easy. Let me see this. Let's go into light. Let's just take this back to a normal white light. It's way too intense. 0.85 ambient up to like 5 or 3 or something like that. Distance, that's great. Okay. So with this, let me try going over to these pieces. I'm going to hit Control D just to be able to give it a little bit of a little bit more, just more. Let's go surface noise. And what I want to do is I want to go ahead and let's hit frame. I want to make sure that first off that color blend is completely down to 0. I don't need color blend, but I do need the strength on this noise to be such that you can tell that it's there. And then we're going to say apply to mesh. So you can see it goes through and gives it like an interesting that is too strong. Okay, let's try this again. Apply to mesh. It's a little bit better. Still not quite the effect that I want, but you know, it's something to play with. The other thing that I would do is maybe just using my move topological and just kind of make it vary out some, you know, so that it's not consistent. But I think I liked it better before I tried to put the noise on there. I think that this works better for what I'm wanting. So we'll do something like this, and then we'll, you know, add some inconsistencies. So you see that, and then we go back to our pumpkin, and it looks much better. It gives a lot more life and character to it, you know. Just kind of fun. Something I wish I had thought about doing before before hitting render, but it's okay. Let's go ahead and save this out. Maybe I'll save it out as pumpkin 2, just so I can have a different version that I can go back to. We can do that, and then yeah. So essentially that's what we got. I'll go ahead and I'll post this up on the Instagrams, and yeah, it was fun. thanks for tuning in, guys. I mean, it was just trying to finish up a quick project after a live stream. So glad you guys turned out. Hope you guys had fun, and yeah, I'll see you around the